Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another brand new Tumbler tutorial. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Mal and I make Tumbler tutorials here on YouTube every single week. In today's tutorial, we are going to be doing a peekaboo design. If you've been following me for a long time, you know that I love a good peekaboo. So throughout this tutorial, I'm going to show you a few different tips, tricks, and techniques to get a really solid peekaboo. Now I'm going to be doing a leopard print peekaboo, but of course these techniques and everything I'm going to show you can be used with any sort of peekaboo. You don't have to do leopard print. We're going to be using some glitters from the December Create by Firefly bug box. We're also going to be using the element sheet from the December Colors That Stick. If you don't know about the Create by Firefly subscriptions, there are two. There is a bug box, which comes with 6 gigantic glitters along with 6 decals, and then there's the Colors That Stick that comes with vinyl and decals. Now there is a color. Now every month there's a color story, so everything in both boxes will match that color story, so you can use everything interchangeably and use them together. So we are going to be using the glitters from the bug box and the elements from the Colors That Stick on this peekaboo tumbler. We're also going to be using some vinyl from TeckWrap Craft, which I will tell you a little bit about later in the video. As you guys know, TeckWrap Craft is one of my favorite places to get vinyl. They have great quality stuff, a ton of different styles and colors and textures, and I just love them. So we're going to talk about them a little bit later in the video as well. If you enjoy this tutorial, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below. It really helps my channel out and I really appreciate it. If you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below too so you don't miss any of my new videos. I upload brand new Tumbler tutorials every Tuesday and Saturday. As always, I will have a full supply list down in the description box for you. I'll also have some discount codes, of course, as well as links to all of my social media pages. So if you would like to follow along with me anywhere else, you can find my Instagram, Facebook group, Elite Mentorship group, all of that information down in the description box. Okay, I think that's it. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's go. For this design, we're going to be using a 30-ounce skinny straight tumbler from Craft Haven, and I'm going to start by base painting it with ColorShot spray paint in the color Wine Stain. And while my spray paint is drying, I'm going to mix together my 2 glitters. I'm going to be using a Shatter glitter and then also a fine cut. Both of these are from the December bug box with Create by Firefly. The fine cut is called Drop Dead, and then the shatter is called Last Word. So I'm going to mix those together. I put a little bit more of the shatter in. It's probably like a 60-40 ratio. So I mix those together, and now I'm going to apply my epoxy to my tumbler. And now with the epoxy method, for this specific glitter and any really like kind of big chunky that you're using, you can use a little bit more epoxy than you typically would with the epoxy method, because this is going to kind of soak up that glitter a little bit and make it a whole lot easier to get a perfectly smooth surface for your peekaboo later. So in all, I probably put about like 8-ish milliliters on my cup, which in hindsight might have been a little too much. You'd probably be safe with about 5 milliliters. But once I've got that smoothed all over my cup, I'm going to go in with my glitter mix here. And now typically I wouldn't use a shatter glitter to cover an entire cup. Typically I would use them just to like sprinkle in on a Milky Way for some texture or different things like that. But shatters are difficult, so I really wanted to show you in this video how you could take a shatter glitter and make it work for a peekaboo. So once I had the glitter on my cup, I let it sit and dry for a few hours, and you can see that that epoxy really did soak up a lot of that glitter, but it doesn't look like flat still because the shatter is so dimensional and has so much different shift and reflect to it. It's going to look really good once it's under epoxy, and especially under our peekaboo. So because I put so much epoxy on my cup, I had a little bit of drippage up at the top rim because it moved a little bit. So that's why I said use maybe a little bit less. I'm just going to go in and clean that off with my craft knife. You can see a little bit of it popped up. That's probably a spot on my cup I didn't prep very well. So make sure you prep your cups really, really well. In the end, it doesn't matter in this case because of the peekaboo. We just won't show that section of the cup. So once I had that all cleaned up, I went in and I applied 2 coats of epoxy to my tumbler. Each coat was about 25 to 30 milliliters, so they are on the bigger side, but I want my cup to be as smooth as possible before I go in and add my stencils. So I did my 2 coats of epoxy, did all of my sanding, and now I'm going in with my Leopard Stencil. This leopard print pattern is from Bear Trends Digi Design on Etsy. It's the fuzzy leopard pattern, and I cut it out of my tried and true Oracal 651 stencil vinyl. Now I know a lot of people don't love stencil vinyl, but for me it works the absolute best when I'm doing peekaboos. It's crisp, it's clean, and it's very easy to peel up. But if you don't like the stencil vinyl, you can absolutely use removable vinyl. I just wouldn't recommend using a permanent vinyl unless you want your life to be very, very hard. So when I first go in to apply my leopard print, I'm going to look for any spots that are a little bit bumpy, like maybe where I didn't do the best sanding, and I'm going to put a stencil right over those bumps. So when I paint my cup, I'm going to remove that stencil, and then once we put epoxy over it, you won't know that that bump was there in the first place. So I'm going to look for those first, and then I'm going to kind of build my leopard print clusters around those spots. And I'm doing clusters here because I'm going to use an element sheet later on to fill in any gaps. So I don't want a full leopard peekaboo, I just want some glitter peekaboo leopard spots mixed in with the element sheet. So I'm going to put those all over my cup, and I'm going to spray paint it with Rustic Pink from Rust-Oleum. I'm going to do 2 light coats of that paint, and you can see there's some spots that I missed when I was putting my spots down, but that's okay because we can cover it up with the element sheet later, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to let my paint dry about an hour. Once it's totally dry, I'm going to take my needle nose tweezers here. These are really sharp on the end. They're perfect for pulling up peekaboos. And you can see I'm very slowly and carefully just kind of wedging the tip of my tweezers under my vinyl and pulling it up in one piece. So I'm going to do that all over my cup. Just really take your time, go slow, be patient, and all peeling up all these spots took me about 20 to 30 minutes. Once I've got all my stencil vinyl peeled up, I'm going to go into another coat of epoxy. I've got about 25 milliliters of KSRESIN Liquid Art Ultra UV epoxy, and I'm going to mix in a little bit of Special Edition Flurries from Peachy Olive Glitters into that epoxy. This is an extra fine kind of gold shifting glitter. It's really pretty. It's one of my favorite things to mix into epoxy for a little bit of extra sparkle. And the reason I'm doing it on this tumbler is to kind of help camouflage those little bumps that we have underneath our spray paint. Adding a little bit of glitter into your epoxy will camouflage those mistakes just a little tiny bit. So after that coat of epoxy was all cured, I was ready to move into my leopard print element sheet. And now, like I said, this came in the Colors That Stick box in December. So the colors of the glitters from the bug box coordinate with the colors in the Colors That Stick, so you can use everything interchangeably. So these are just little leopard clusters, the same kind of idea that we did with our stencil vinyl, but these are already cut into clusters for you, so you can just peel them up and place them in between your sections like I'm doing here. If there are smaller sections that you need, you can cut them up into individual spots if you want, or you can use these really however you want to. I just filled in all of that kind of blank space in between my peekaboo leopard spots. I added another very thin coat of epoxy over those leopard spots so that we would have a smooth surface to apply our decal. And for our decal, we're going to be using one that I hand lettered, and we are going to do a double offset on here. So I'm going to use 3 different vinyl sheets from TeckWrap Craft. The first one is Sunset Pink Opal, and then we have Dark Gray Holographic, and then we have my absolute favorite vinyl, I think of all time, the Textured Champagne Gold vinyl. You guys have seen me use that about 1,000,000 times on this channel. So you guys know that I love TeckWrap Craft. I love that their stuff is easy to cut. It's very easy to weed, as you can see here. I did some very aggressive weeding with my decals just to show you how easy it is to weed. There are tons of different colors. There's holographic, there's sparkle, there's chrome, there's this beautiful opal, there's the textured vinyl. They have great quality stuff. You can get it on their website, TeckWrapCraft.com, or on Amazon if you prefer. I will have both linked down below in the description box, but if you haven't checked out TeckWrap Craft, I don't know what you're waiting for. They have amazing stuff, and I really, really love them. So we are going to start layering our decal. This one says, "You are wildly capable." Like I said, I hand lettered this one. It is available on my website if you would like to purchase it. It does come with the double offset. And I tried to layer the first 2 layers, so the very top and our middle layer, before putting them on the cup, and then I decided that I didn't really like doing it that way. I've seen a lot of people do it like that, but I would much rather just layer it while it's on the cup. But it is totally personal preference. However you like to do it is totally fine, of course. So I'm going to go back to my very bottom layer of my offset. This is the Sunset Pink Opal Vinyl, and I'm going to put that on my cup first, and then I'm going to take my top and middle layers that I have already layered together, and I'm going to cut them down in my style, word by word, and then apply them onto the main offset on my cup. Once I had my decal down, I added my final 2 coats of epoxy. Each final coat was about 15 to 20 milliliters, and once they were cured, we are all done. So here is the final result. I had so much fun putting this tumbler together, and I really hope that it helps you in conquering your peekaboo tumblers. I know it's not the easiest technique to master, but once you've got it, they are so much fun, and doing peekaboos is literally one of my absolute favorite techniques. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please be sure to drop them down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you so, so much, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, love you. Bye. Whew. That's pretty good. I said a lot without any mistakes. Good job, me. Great job.
Yeah.